Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of Green Vibes Podcast. And today we are here with Peter McQueen, right? Peter McQueen, he works at Toronto Pig Save, co founder at Veg Food Fest, director at Toronto Vegetarian Association, founder at Canadian Organic Groups. And I think I missed something, Peter. That's a lot. Thank you. Welcome here, Peter.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you. So you are a multitask man, right? I
Oh,
saw here that you are doing a lot of stuffs. Let's start with one that I think that's very interesting here. That's Toronto Pig Safe.
right.
Explain to us, what is this? What is Toronto Pig Safe?
Well, Toronto Pig Aid was founded back in December of 2010 by Anita Kreintz and her dog, Mr. Bean. And she had adopted this dog and was walking in her neighborhood along Lakeshore Boulevard near the CNE. And there were trucks that made a left turn to go up Strawn Avenue and then turn into a slaughterhouse that had been called Quality Meat Packers that had been there many, many decades. Well, long time at that location. It has since closed. But she saw the suffering of the pigs in these transport trucks and
when the pigs was inside the truck,
inside
right?
the trucks going to slaughter.
Uh-huh.
And she was already vegan, I believe, at that time. Yeah, she had become vegan. And she'd also studied the philosophies of Leo Tolstoy and Mahatma Gandhi and others. And one of the things that Tolstoy has said was that if you see someone suffering, do not go away, but draw closer to bear witness to their suffering and, if possible, alleviate it. So she felt that by bearing witness to the suffering of these animals that we're going to slaughter would in some way be a way of saving them in some way. It's not, it's only partially saving them because they're not actually saving their lives, but by bearing witness, by holding vigils, we then draw attention to their suffering and draw other people in. So the organization has been going on, and early on, within like 6 months, they committed to having 3 vigils a week.
And in front of that slaughterhouse.
Yes, or well, nearby where the pigs turn, where the trucks turn. And then it expanded to be there were cow and chicken slaughterhouses in Toronto near Keele and St. Clair. And so they started to hold vigils there at the cow slaughterhouses, chicken slaughterhouse. And then Quality Meat Packers closed a few years later in Toronto, and we shifted our vigils for pig vigils to the next nearest slaughterhouse, which is in Burlington. Fearman's Pork, it's called. It's part of Safina Foods. And so there are weekly vigils there now, and I help coordinate those. I'm Lead Safety Marshal along with another person for those vigils. And I've been doing that since...
So since 2010, you said, right?
Well, I haven't personally. I mean, I attended some of the early vigils, and my wife Jenny and I were irregular attendees, you could say. I mean, we would go every year a few times, but not regularly. And we'd been to all the different types of vigils as well. And even when we've traveled, we've been to vigils in other places. I know when we were in St. John's, Newfoundland, we helped with a vigil at a chicken slaughterhouse there. And when we were in England, we found a vigil not too far from where we were staying and went to it. Went to a couple actually there. So yeah, it's something we've been doing. But following the killing of Regan Russell, who is an activist and a regular attendee of Toronto Pig Save vigils in Burlington, we redoubled our efforts, and I was asked to take on this
I remember
safety
it was
marshal
so
role.
sad what happened at that time with her. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
And she was there to try to help right all the pigs. So
Absolutely.
many years ago that she's doing this. And
And it could have been any of us, really, in
Yeah,
a way,
exactly.
because many of us had taken turns standing in front of the trucks to
Mhm.
encourage them to stop. We tried different techniques over the years. And until Bill 156, the Ontario government's law, made that illegal, we were regularly doing it. So it could have been any of the activists that were there. People took turns in that role. Others would be giving water to pigs. Others would be standing with signs,
Yeah.
directing traffic to as a form of outreach and education. So it was really tragic, but it could have been any of us.
And after this tragic episode, do you think that something changed for better?
Well, it's hard to say.
Because it should be what it.
I know it should be. The police, Halton Region Police, viewed it as a traffic accident and have prosecuted it as such. The driver has still not been before the courts. He was charged with a traffic offense, but the family and Toronto Pig Safe feel it should be a criminal offense of dangerous driving causing death.
So unfortunately, nothing happened, right? Nothing changed. I mean, about those slaughterhouse, about those trucks, nothing changed. They
still come.
They still come. They're still doing the same thing, the same way. That nothing changed at that in this point.
Yeah, no.
And for activists,
well, things change for activists. Yes. The good thing, the good that came out of it, is that many people who had previously not thought to go to a vigil started to, and many people increased their efforts. There were memorial vigils and memorials around the world. Toronto Pig Save was just the start of the Animal Save movement, and the Animal Save movement, and there are other branches, Climate Save, Health Save, and Youth Climate Save, have chapters all around the world. And many, many people fostered or rescued pigs or other animals in Regan's name as a result of her killing. Many new activists came onto the scene as a result of it.
So and they got knowledge about what happened, right?
Absolutely. And others, like myself, increased our efforts. So there has been some good that's come out of it, but obviously very tragic.
Yeah, I understand. And I know that's a very hard job, right? That you go to the vigils, do all those stuff there for many and many years. And tell me if I'm wrong, but I can't see so many changes with those slaughterhouses, right? It's not decrease. For example, we have 10 trucks a day, and now we have 5 trucks a day. That it's not happen, right? Am I right?
I think
why even all those efforts for people, for you, for Russell, everybody, and we can't see a big changes.
No, demand for meat continues to be high.
Because even see, I'm sorry to interrupt, but even here in our podcast, we're not to point for everybody and say you have to be vegan, you need to be vegan, or you go to hell. No, we never do that. But we try to show for the people to bring the knowledge. Right?
Yes.
So what happened behind one package of meat, right?
Indeed. And that's part of the purpose of the Animal Save movement.
But yeah, exactly. I say it's a very good job, but I see that it's like it's small steps.
Indeed.
Right? It's a big effort for small steps. Do you think that it's worth?
Well, it's always worth it to do the right thing. In some places there have been amazing changes. I mean, I've been vegan over 30 years, and I've seen enormous changes in terms of availability of vegan foods and vegan choices.
We too, yeah.
So that has been I think one of the biggest changes. And even the terms vegan and plant-based are becoming much more have been heard much more now. I mean, I see TV ads and even on programs, someone's referred to as being vegan or being plant-based, and there's TV ads promoting plant-based products and vegan
Yeah,
products.
yeah.
So those
It's
are
getting more
wonderful
popular,
things. And I think quite a few people have actually reduced their meat consumption.
hmm
Um,
which
the
is
num-
already it's great, right?
it
It's
is,
good.
it's very good. It's not enough, but it's good.
Exact.
Um, and many people, there has been a growth in the number of vegans, and particularly in vegetarians going vegan. And many people who have become vegan now have not gone through the intermediate step like I did of becoming vegetarian first
hmm
and then realizing about the dairy and egg industries and going, oh, I can't
That's the
support
same thing.
that either, and becoming vegan. So people are going straight to vegan more often. People are finding the transition to become vegan from being a meat eater much easier.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
all those things are positives. And the movement has grown as well. So there's more chapters of groups. There's other groups. There's lots of different people doing different things. And because the Save movement has branched out into other elements, so Health Save, for example,
hmm
Health Save movement focuses on the health impacts
Yeah,
of animal agriculture, of animal products. The Climate Save movement focuses on the climate aspects. And
yeah. There is
as
so different fields involved with this in becoming vegan. Right? As you said, it's a health. We saw so many people. As I
mm,
told us, I'm a pharmacist, and I saw at the pharmacy the people, what are the people with high cholesterol,
right.
with overweight? It's a
Hmm.
lot, right? And most of it is it's because the fast food, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And the peoples when they decide to be vegan, not that only for health, because
Mm,
you are always thinking health, okay, but for animals,
right.
right? But it's a positive impact that we have in our body also.
Absolutely. Particularly on a healthier, sort of whole foods, plant-based diet, obviously. But a lot of us, were brought up on junk food and other things. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have a choice of being able to get a burger somewhere that
hmm
that is vegan, but is maybe not the healthiest choice, but probably healthier than the meat burger. But
For sure.
nonetheless,
I'm pretty
or
sure
as I
it
like
is.
to call it, like, these are plant meat, right? Let's reclaim the term meat and call them plant meat. One of the other big things that the Save the Animal Safe movement has done is a fairly new program, campaign, I guess you could call it, called the Plant Based Treaty.
hmm
And I'd like to say a little bit about that. It's a um, it's being marketed sort of separate from the animal save movement because we want people to realize that there there aren't, how can I put it? There, even if they're not vegan, even if people are not vegan,
hmm
they still should be concerned about the global warming and the
Okay.
impact on the environment. So the plant-based treaty is, we're asking individuals, businesses, organizations, and municipalities to endorse the treaty, in order to put pressure on national governments to
hmm
institute an international treaty, plant-based treaty. And it ties in with the United Nations calls for changes as well.
hmm
So the plant-based treaty has three core principles. One is relinquish. Um, no land use change, ecosystem degradation, or deforestation for animal agriculture. That's the first demand or principle.
Okay.
The second is redirect, an active transition away from animal-based food systems to plant-based systems. And the third is restore, actively restore key ecosystems, particularly restoring forests and rewilding landscapes. And all these three together will make a huge impact,
There's a huge
a
impact.
positive
Yeah, for
impact on the
sure.
environment, and uh, halt widespread degradation of critical ecosystems. And we like to say, sort of the tagline is, eat plants, plant trees, endorse the plant-based treaty.
That's
And
perfect.
people can go to plantbasedtreaty.org and endorse and encourage others to endorse. And there's
To go to do the same thing, right?
absolutely. And we're calling for both individual diet change,
hmm
but also system change, food system change.
Is there any doctor involved with this?
There are some,
Nutritions or
yeah, there are various
because
endorsers.
it's a very good point,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
If they can be together with this.
Yeah, there have been many people who have endorsed it, and now there's starting to be a number of cities endorsing it.
Mhm,
There's a number in India that just recently signed up and endorsed the treaty,
mhm.
and there's a few other ones, and we want more. And even people, let's say people in Canada, they can, through the plantbasedtreaty.org website, they can write letters to their municipal councillors
Okay,
and
that's good.
mayors and say, please endorse this treaty.
Mhm.
So there's actions that can be taken by many, many people.
Perfect. Awesome.
I send it.
You
I
decided
sent,
did,
already?
I sent
excellent.
from our city from the mayor.
yeah? That's good.
Yeah, excellent, Erica.
Okay, so you said about animal save movements,
Mhm.
right? That's another one. It's different for Toronto Pig Save, right?
So Toronto Pig Save is a chapter of it's the first chapter,
Okay.
but once other groups other cities wanted to have their own chapters. The goal of the animal save movement is to have vigils at every slaughterhouse throughout the world, around the world.
Okay.
So
So you want to reach global.
absolutely, and so we were gradually growing, and the growth of the animal save movement accelerated when Anita Krines herself, the founder or
Mhm.
co-founder, as she calls herself, was charged with criminal mischief, with mischief causing property damage, basically, for giving water to pigs going to Fearman Slaughterhouse in Burlington. Now, this has been happening
yeah.
for years.
Mhm.
And one day, a hot June day, and I believe it was 2005, she was giving water to pigs in the truck.
Mhm.
And there were others there as well. And it was all caught on video. So, and the driver got out of the truck and told her to stop. So I asked what it was, and she said it's water. And said, "How do we know that?" "Well, you can drink some if you want."
If you want to.
And
Maybe put inside the truck. Go together.
and he asked her to stop. She didn't. Anyway, several months later, she was charged with mischief, and which is a serious charge. It can be up to 10 years in jail. Not
Really?
usually for a first offense, but it can
Mhm.
be, depending on what's done. Anyway, there was a lengthy trial where all sorts of expert witnesses were called, and basically the industry, the pig breeding and pig farming industry, were put on trial.
Okay.
As much as Anita was put on trial,
Mhm.
she was acquitted because they slaughtered the pigs.
Exactly.
Nobody ever claimed that there was any harm done to the pigs, really. There was speculation. There could have been,
They could. Mhm.
but of course not. We don't want to harm pigs. Why would we do that, right?
Exactly.
So as a result of the publicity, because it was covered by major news media, it resulted in many more chapters of the SAVE movement being established in many countries. So that was a huge benefit to almost the best result. The best result would have been if the judge had set legal precedent and considered the animals persons rather than property.
Right.
And he would not do that. He refused to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But nonetheless, it really helped promote the movement.
Mhm. And I saw that this animal save movement, it's recent. I think it's recently about the octopus.
Yes, there's
explain to us about this farm that it's new, right? We never see it before.
That's right. It's it'll be the first time that octopuses have been farmed. They have been caught in the wild many times, but in various places. So this is in the Canary Islands that are part of Spain. And I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a campaign that the Animal Save movement is involved in. This is fairly new that we are doing various campaigns, but we basically want this farm to be stopped. And there are actions individuals can take pressure the Spanish government to not allow
Not
this to happen. So we
But it's already working, this company, or they are going to start? Do you know?
the company exists, Nuevo something. I can't remember it. It's in Spanish.
Mhm.
But don't believe the farm is actually operational yet. I think they're building it. So basically, we have a chance, a slim chance, perhaps, to stop it.
Peter, you was the teacher,
Yes.
and how you, what you think if we pressure the government to teach the kids about to take care of the animals, about to take care because they like the octopus. Né? Every child when kindergarten draw the octopus, like the octopus, and suddenly, okay, you eat
And
the
even
octopus.
other animals, right? When you are a kid, we usually draw the pig. I remember that when I was young, I learned how to draw the face of the pig. We do 2 or 3 dots, like something like that, and you just follow the dot, and you draw the face of the pig.
Because the kids the same way that there is another subject today in the school because we change a lot.
Yeah, then we have to change
during the years. I think it's now kids can know about what happens and
right. Yeah. I was an elementary school teacher for 24 years, and recently retired, mainly to spend more time on animal rights. And I think it would be something that would be good. Yes, it would definitely be good to.
Yes, because during the videos I watched some videos. I follow you and the another ones, and sometimes show the kids.
Yes.
Kids activists
Right.
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they are there, right?
Yeah.
They get involved.
Youth Climate Save was started by a I can't remember how old she was when she started. She's 13
the
or
last
something.
Year, on the March Animal Defender, have many children there.
Yes. Yes.
But
absolutely.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I mean, many children are. I think children are naturally, until they're taught out of it, are sympathetic towards animals and identify with animals, and many of them love animals. Not that you have to love animals to protect them. I mean, they just have the right to have their own rights and their own ability to exist and live freely. But it would certainly be a wonderful thing if we taught them not just about animals, but about protecting animals in schools. And certainly, the big problem is you get like complaints from some parents or some school administration at times. I mean, I was able to use like picture books and other things to sort of plant some seeds at least, and to and certainly my students knew I was vegan and that sort of thing. So there were ways of doing it, but very subtly.
Remember that we have the one school that we visited last year that they just
in Barry.
In Barry, yeah, we had there in a school. It's a private school. Actually, it's not public. It's a private school,
right?
And the meals are all vegans.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, and during the recess, during the break time, they just teach the kids to grow up, to take their own foods, to grow their own foods, the vegetables, the fruits there.
Lovely.
And the contact with the animals, that they have a lot of animals there. That's amazing. That's amazing. I never see it before. That's the first time I was there just to visit, to see how good it is. And the kids just started kindergarten, right? Babies almost.
Wow, that's amazing.
7 to 10, I think. And I'm not wrong. I don't remember. But at that age. So they learn about vegan. And I asked about the parents. I said, how the parents said about that? They agree, they not agree? They totally agree. Even they are not vegan, some parents are not vegan, but they are not against teach the kids about vegan stuffs and how to love the animals in the school.
And another thing that take attention this school, because the usually in the common schools, the recess is outdoor.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
there
Yep.
is change. The classes is outdoor,
exactly.
and
Oh, right.
the lunch is indoor. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, that's lovely.
because they put the kids with contact with the environment.
Right.
They
Right.
needed them to contact. And she said that they just a joke is that they come clean and go home very dirty,
Mhm.
right? But yeah, they teach the kids like, and they enjoy it. The
Oh,
kids
I'm sure.
love it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's love it.
And
That's fantastic.
maybe
That's what I'm thinking in every school.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you had
Wouldn't that be
something,
great?
it's not vegan class for sure,
Mm.
right? But just explain what happened and what it's, and as I told you, what it's behind when you buy a package of meat.
Mhm.
What's behind this?
Well,
Where
what?
this meat came
but
from?
see,
Let's
but
ask this for our kids. Where this meat came from?
but
Mhm.
it's just only meat. I think the children need to be responsible and take care about the nature,
Yeah,
the
everything.
Oh,
animals,
absolutely. Mhm.
because see, all the everything is connected. If
Mhm.
you make a mistake here, everything is going wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything.
Mhm.
If you go at school, the kids throw out the bottle in the floor on the floor,
Mhm.
and the birds, the squirrel go there, and
Yeah.
There are environment clubs
Yeah.
and nature clubs in many schools, and that's another opportunity to use to teach children about protecting animals and nature in multiple ways. They tend to focus on recycling and litter cleanup and things like that, but certainly it's an
Yeah, because
opportunity
about the
to
recycling, we see at the
Yeah.
school, right? We
Yeah.
have the bins there,
Sure.
separate the bins to
Yeah.
put the garbage,
Right.
separate. But we never see they talk about really that's what happened with the animals.
Right.
And
And this would be an opportunity to do that. And certainly there are individuals who have made presentations in schools as well,
Mhm.
but at various levels, at elementary and secondary levels as well. And we want children to grow up to be critical thinkers, right? So
Exactly.
Yeah.
this is another avenue
Yeah,
to
because
for
the
that.
kids they love animals for sure, right? But and they eat meat, but they don't know. They're kids,
Right.
right? Then they're not for searching the internet. Today it's easy to search everything, but they are
Mhm.
not searching. Oh, where this meat come from?
Mhm.
What
Or
happened if I throw some plastic
Mhm.
on the
or
floor?
happens another thing. Inside each house have the tradition, the culture that
Yeah,
you can change.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
so sometimes it's so hard because one example, my kids have a lot of friends. Many times the friends is in my home,
Mhm.
and the kids all the time tell me, I love the animals because show the pictures and
Mhm.
my daughter, my son all the time show and I love animal. I love a dog. I love a cow. And you don't go see the dog, the cow. My mom don't like.
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
It's so sad. But
Mhm.
it's hard for the children.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but see, I think that the school give it information for these children after they grow up. They
Mhm.
feel, okay, now it's my life.
Right.
I like the animals. I protect them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think unfortunately we as a society we tend not to want to give full information to children
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
adults for that matter
Yeah.
about what's all involved in producing food and producing animal and raising animals and killing animals for food. Um, and even parents will hide that information from their own children.
yeah.
I remember I was teaching a grade 1-2 class and I overheard some students talking, and I knew this one student had lots of pets, companion animals, I would call them, but nonetheless. And I overheard him telling another student, "Oh, animals aren't killed for us to eat them. They just die naturally."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, where did you hear that? I wanted to talk to him, but I couldn't really grill him about it. But I'm sure his parents, knowing he loved animals, told him that they just died naturally in order to assuage his conscience and his feelings. Because if he'd been told they were killed for him, he wouldn't have wanted to eat them. So
I
his own
know, yeah.
parents were hiding the truth from him in order that he not become vegetarian or vegan, right? Or at least not question. So yeah, there's a lot that we can do to work to provide information and true information to children in all sorts of settings. And children are welcome to events, obviously.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, you were mentioning we have marches and other things. I was involved in as Lead Safety Marshal for the Animal Rights March, Toronto Animal Rights March, and last summer, and actually for several summers. And there's always children at those events, and families, entire families come out as well. In fact, you get people of all ages, really. So, which is wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah. That's good. Another thing that here that you can talk about with us, Peter, it's about the Veg Food Fest.
Veg Food Fest, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that?
What is that? Well, it's one of the biggest vegan food festivals around.
When it happened?
Well, it happens in September, the weekend after Labor Day, and usually last year it didn't. No, yes, it was the same weekend. That's right. It was just a one-day event. It was a mini event because of COVID
restrictions.
Once in a
year.
It's once a year.
Okay.
And we have the weekend following Labor Day, and it's usually at Harbourfront Centre in Toronto. And on say we'll call it the pre-COVID times, we would get up to 40,000 people over 3 days at this event. So huge free public event put on by the Toronto Vegetarian Association, which is a pro-vegan group. It's evolved. It's an old group. It was founded in 1945. The festival itself was founded in 1985, and I was involved in co-founding it with TVA at the time. And yeah, it's amazing. We have speakers, we have cooking demonstrations, we have all sorts of, I think, 160 vendors, and it's a very festive time, music, other things going on.
That's a very good
wonderful
opportunity for people that doesn't know about vegan food, right? Even for example, us, we can invite some friends that are not vegan or vegetarian. Come here, let's go there. Let's try some different food.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that's one of the reasons we've set it up the way we have, where it's free admission, it's in a public place, so it's easy to get to. And, we're trying to keep the barriers low, right? And encourage people to attend. And certainly when we've surveyed the attendees, we've found that a high percentage of people are not vegan or vegetarian. So that's really great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's I said, that's a good opportunity, right, for everybody knows about.
Right.
This year is better. No COVID.
Yeah,
no
I
masking.
hope it is year.
Well, I think this year will be good. Yeah, we seem to be doing well.
And
I think it hasn't.
So
we haven't.
You said that's a week after Labor.
It's the weekend after Labor Day.
Okay.
And it starts on a Friday and ends on Sunday. So you got the whole weekend.
So everybody save the date.
That's right. Yeah. And it hasn't actually been officially announced yet, but I know we're planning to do it. We've already, the Harbourfront Centre's already set the weekend aside for us. And we're already in the process of organizing and signing up vendors and that sort of thing.
And after many years working with animals, environments, and you have a lot of experience, what you think is harder to change in the people today? Because the people today is easy to get it, the information, adults, the society,
right?
We have internet, so
sure,
and
easy.
Why you think that the people cannot make this change? Because
not as much that we expect,
right?
Because I see, I don't know, but it's an example. Because during COVID, I see a lot the selfish peoples in the stores, and only me. I told him
it's overbuying.
It's so sad. You see the world in a bad situation, and the people can help, but not help. Just thinking, then
Mm-hmm.
another people, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's hard to just see this because
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know how change or how show this for people. Sometimes the people like that's the things that I make, but I feel small, so small yet, and many people so rude and don't have time.
Yes, as I
Mm-hmm.
No,
said at the beginning,
yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You do a lot of jobs here. It's hard every day, every
Mm-hmm.
weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a small step.
Mm.
Why the people's it's
It-
it's still low
yeah.
the quantity of people that are
Mm.
changed. That's what our goals, right?
Sure.
It's to change
And I think if I had that answer,
not
if I had the answer,
It would be
many people
amazing,
would,
right?
would be great. I can
Yeah,
only.
there's no right answer so
I-
for now,
I
but
mean, I can-
just
I can give
what
my
you
opinion.
what
With
you
your
think, yes.
Yeah,
with
sure.
your experience,
Sure.
right? So a long
Sure.
year doing the same, doing
Yeah.
this.
I mean,
job.
I've been involved with the Toronto Vegetarian Association since the mid '80s, well, early 1980s. I've been involved in Toronto Pig Save since its founding, basically around that time, anyway. More so lately, and many other animal rights and groups and other groups. Change is slow, and I think great thinkers know that. I've known that through the years. That societal change, individual change, is often very slow. There's a glacial pace of change in many cases, and it's very frustrating. However, sometimes changes can happen really quickly, or appear to happen really quickly if the conditions are right. Obviously, technological change can happen at lightning speed. The development of smartphones, of personal computers,
Yeah.
of all sorts of different technologies, electric cars, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of small incremental changes to get to a point when suddenly change happens really quickly. So that could happen here too. A lot of people, I think, don't do more than try a few new foods because they have an identity. This is just my own opinion and from what I've read. They have an identity and they don't want to change their personal identity. So if you tell them go vegan or you must become vegan, that is a change in identity for them. They don't
First
see
question is,
themselves.
how come?
Or how, or I could never do that, right? I mean, I can remember being, as a vegetarian, starting to meet some people who were, well, they called themselves vegan. They were doing it only for health reasons at the time, and that didn't appeal to me. And I was like, oh, I couldn't give up cheese. No way. Milk.
That's my point.
I drink milk. I love milk. It's
Uh-huh.
and there's no harm to animals, is there? Gradually I learned, yes, there is
Uh-huh.
serious harm to animals and to the environment as well, and to my own health. But it still took me a while to transition from that knowledge to actually becoming vegan. It took a few years. It shouldn't have, but it did. And so I can sympathize with people who take a long time. Similarly, before I became vegetarian, I was thinking about it. I was questioning, do we need to kill animals to eat them? Do we need to even eat animals or their well, I didn't think about their products at the time, but I should have. But it still took me a couple of years before I actually made the commitment. But I think the more that we get people to try vegan foods and the more ubiquitous they are, the more generally available they are, the easier it's going to be for people to transition once they have a reason to do so. And sometimes it takes eating a different way before you change your beliefs. The belief, people tend to think you have to believe a certain way before you make the change. But sometimes you can make the change first, and then the barriers come down for you to change your beliefs. If someone, I won't say if someone believes they need to eat meat in order to be healthy, it's Dr. Melanie Joy, a psychologist, calls it the three N's: natural, necessary, and normal. I think I've got the order wrong, but it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
If you think it's normal to eat meat and other animal products, if you think it's necessary for your survival, and if you think it's the natural thing to do, you're not going to change.
Mhm.
But if you're eating more plant-based foods, you'll start to question, oh, maybe it isn't necessary. I'm getting all the protein I need. Oh, this is delicious food.
I have
Oh,
everything here.
I can go to the supermarket, and instead of reaching for the carton of cow's milk, I can go to the next case and get the carton of oat milk or soy milk. And wow, this is good. Oh, the protein is just the same here. Oh, this is great. I've got calcium here
Same
too, and
thing.
B12. I can put that on my cereal. I can put it in my tea or
Uh-huh.
coffee. I can have it. I can cook with it. Wow, this is fantastic. So then I'm no longer thinking, oh, it's necessary.
Mhm.
And maybe then I'll question, well, maybe it's not the natural thing. I remember growing up and loving animals. Well, why am I treating them
treat it.
this way? Oh, maybe it isn't natural to do this. And then, well, the normal part will come the last, I think, because we look around and we are social beings. We tend to follow what other people do. We don't like to stand out from the
Oh, yeah.
crowd, most of us. I've always been willing to stand out from the crowd. I've been willing to be unpopular, but it's only the people like me that were willing to do something different
Mhm.
that then make it more normal for others.
Another point that I think that it's let's if you see the both companies, meat company and plant-based company, it's unfair competition. You
Oh
see,
yeah.
if you see in the TV,
Mhm.
the propaganda that you have in the TV,
Oh,
the advertising for the meat company,
absolutely.
it's every 10 minutes.
Mhm.
You see that. How many advertises you see for plant-based meat at the TV,
Mhm. True.
right during break in the
Well,
TV
we
show?
are starting to see it now, which is good.
Exactly. But even so,
Mm,
you see the meat company, eat this. You have the new one, the
mhm.
new got this coming up. Always, and it's a
Right?
big,
Yeah.
right? And put in your mind that this one is the best.
Sure.
This one,
Yeah,
it's
I understand. However, one of the interesting changes that have been happening is that meat companies, and many of them, are now investing in plant meats, in plant-based foods.
exactly. Mhm.
And I'll give a Canadian example, Maple Leaf Foods, which owns many slaughterhouses throughout
Mhm.
Canada. They're building an enormous one just outside of London, Ontario, and they're going to be closing a lot of their smaller ones in order to concentrate on this huge slaughterhouse. But they bought Light Life Foods and Field Roast. And although Field Roast has been more available in supermarkets, but Light Life Foods is now available at 7-Eleven
Mhm.
and is available in Light Life Foods is now in Canadian KFCs. You can get the plant-based
Plant-based,
chicken,
you can.
which is Light Life Foods. I mean, huge difference. I mean, on the other hand, you've got vegan companies like Beyond Meat who are partnering with other retailers, in KFC in the UK, in the US is
Yeah, they're
Beyond
selling
Meat
their meats in the big with
in
the
the big
big
places. Yeah.
restaurants. We can see that.
Now it's not necessarily what it's not going to be mostly vegans that go there, but
Mhm.
which is good in a way. We're going to have more people who are not used to eating vegan foods trying them for the first time. So, although I agree with you that the marketing
The
push
market
and
is super.
is huge
Yeah.
towards meat,
Mhm.
and government subsidies are
Exactly.
also
Mhm.
hugely towards meat.
It's too much money that's involved in this for
Huge
sure.
amount of money. You are seeing changes in both on the corporate level of investing in plant-based products
Mhm.
and promoting plant-based products, and also in government subsidizing and supporting plant-based foods. So it's a start. It's not enough, but I believe it will really grow exponentially in time.
We are think that we are going the right way, right? We are,
Absolutely.
and soon we can see the big change because, as you said, you see big companies,
Mhm.
even the toothbrushes that use it, we only see the plastic one. Now we can find the bamboo.
That's
one,
true. Yeah.
Right? It's easy to find now. And even the price, right? The price, it's
coming more
it's
parity. Coming
it's
down.
equivalent. It's not very different. When I remember, because I work in the retail, and I saw when we first received the bamboo one for the toothbrush, and the price for the bamboo is 3 times more.
Wow.
It's different. I thought, no one's gonna buy this.
Of course, there's economies of scale and other things that play into that.
The regular people just see, okay, this one is $10, this one is $2. Which one are you gonna buy? Right?
Yeah.
But now it's equivalent.
Wow.
You can see the price, it's pretty much the same. If it's different, it's less than $1.
Amazing.
So, right? And you see that the company, it's getting investment, it's putting investment in the other fields. So that's why the price is going down.
Sure. And the same thing you're seeing with a lot of the plant meats now. Like I know Beyond, their goal is to have price parity with animal-based meat. And they're getting close to it. They're not there yet, but they're getting close to it. And that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people.
It's not a big difference.
No.
Not a big impact. Okay, so do you have any other question for him? I think. What else? We have a lot to talk with you.
Yeah, it's great.
We can spend here 3 hours.
How much time do we have left?
No time left.
No time left. Okay.
All right. The times go well. When the conversation is good, the time is fly.
Indeed.
It goes very quickly.
Indeed. I was going to say just one little thing I'll say.
Yeah, sure.
Is that just on a personal level and a recommendation for people who want to be activists is that it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the challenges ahead and the slow pace of change. So I think it's important to have some sort of balance in your life when you do that. I mean, for me, it's being in nature. I'm a cross-country skier. I'm a canoeist. I'm a hiker. I do wildflower identification in the spring, things like that. That speaks to me. Other people, it might be meditation or yoga or something else. Something that gives you some balance in your life, I think, is really important for activists. Otherwise, they can get burned out far too quickly and get discouraged and depressed far too easily. And then they are a loss to the movement. So I always think that find your balance and work at it.
And just one thing that you mentioned now, it's very important, just for let everybody know. If the people want to be part of the movement, how they do? Where they gonna find? You don't need to be vegan, don't need to be anything. Just if you are interested in about this movement, how they figure out where it's happened, what it's happened?
Well, there's a few different places they can go. If they're interested in animal rights and they're in the Toronto area, there's a great resource called Animal Rights Toronto.
You have a social media page, right, for Toronto?
Animal Rights Toronto is both on Facebook and Instagram and also has a website, animalrightstoronto.com, and a calendar of events. So that's a really good place to start. Okay. And then, of course, people can use the power of the internet and Google and other things to find the savemovement.org is where the various branches of the Save Movement are in, the Animal Save, Health and Climate Save, and Youth Climate Save. The Toronto Vegetarian Association, which, as I said before, is a pro-vegan group, and we're actually going to be changing our name soon, is veg.ca is the website, and we're also on social media as Toronto Veg. So,
and everybody are welcome, right? Everybody.
Everybody is welcome. Certainly. I know I can speak as a board of director for TVA that we are a very welcoming and encouraging big tent organization, and we welcome people wherever they are and whatever reason they're interested.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Perfect. Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For having here. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that we have an amazing conversation here. Everybody enjoy. And you are already invited for the next one. We have more to talk. And maybe let's see soon. You come back here for you continue with our conversation. Okay, Peter?
Great.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching. So keep in touch. YouTube, Instagram. Go subscribe in our YouTube and don't miss any episode. Okay? Thank you. Bye. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you.